Welcome to another episode of Low Tech Garage. I'm going to be working on something a little bit different today. For those that have been following the Van Pla build and restore refurbishment that I have been doing, up until now I've been really focused on mechanical components so that I can get the car on the road, put some miles on it, and really bring it back to a mechanical level that I would personally be pleased with to keep the car on the road and really enjoy it for many years to come. But today, I'm gonna be doing something a little bit different. So those of you that are familiar with this specific XJ platform, the X350 and the X358, and honestly, even some of the earlier ones, we've done some videos on this. One of the areas the car is really lacking is with Bluetooth connectivity. And it's funny, the Van Pla actually does have Bluetooth. I can connect my phone to it and I can answer calls through it, although it isn't that great. The volume's a little weird, but it does come up on the navigation screen, and fundamentally I can take a call. However, I cannot play any music from my phone in the car whatsoever. It just does not work that way. And honestly, it's one of the few things that really dates the car. And so today, I have found a solution that I think will be awesome. And I'm gonna share that with you because it's a little untraditional. I think in one of our previous Jag videos on the X308 showed a pretty affordable way of getting Bluetooth in your car. And honestly, in the X308, it works really well. But what I'm doing here today is a little bit different, and I'm super excited to share it with you. So you find me here in the car, and down here, I have a little FM adapter that I have been trying to use as a Bluetooth connectivity device in the car, and honestly it has not been that great. Like I mentioned, in the X308 it actually worked really well, but in this car it is not good at all. There's constant static, sometimes there's whistling, and really the audio quality is lacking. And to be honest, I've even taken time to go on the website to tell you the best FM station to tune into for your area so that you don't have interference, all those little things, and it just does not work well. And so honestly, that's what's caught my interest in the product I'm going to use today. And so I want to share that with you and bring you along for the journey because the installation's a little more involved, but I'm confident that actually the results are going to be awesome. Now I know we all like a good unboxing, so I figured why not show you what I've purchased, and you can kind of see exactly how it comes right out of the box. And before I open the box, I thought maybe I'd tell you exactly what I've purchased, and that is called Jag Ox. And that is a device that is specifically tailored for our Jaguars to solve the Bluetooth issue. So this is specific in my case to an X350. It even gets as specific to understanding what type of audio system I have so that the way it interfaces with the system, it gives you the factory-like Bluetooth connectivity, leveraging the sound system that the car has. So in my case, I have the optical audio, I've got the navigation, all of that. And this will plug right into that and give me that Bluetooth connectivity that I can use from my cell phone. And also I can even control the Bluetooth on my phone using the steering wheel controls as well. So needless to say, I am super excited to ditch the cheap module that I had shown you that's in my car right now and show you this JagAux product because I think it is going to be a really nice upgrade to the car that's really going to bring it into 2024 when we think about the technology and the connectivity. So I am super excited. So let's go open this box and see what's inside. All right, so let's open this thing up, see what we've got in here. So, got a microphone. This can be handy if you want to use it for taking phone calls. Like I said, my car actually has the phone ability already, so we'll see if I need to use that or not. Here is the device that works its magic to get Bluetooth within the car. Here you go. You can see it's all nicely labeled and actually printed right on the box. A, B, a microphone. And we have C here and a couple of other inputs. It all looks really, really nice. Oh, looks like the bubble wrap jumped away. And then we have the harness, which if I look here, it's nicely labeled C, A, and B, which I'm sure correlates to the little box I showed. And this appears to be a wire tap. And I see a little ribbon cable in here. I'm going to put the phone down and unpackage this a little bit more. All right, well there you have it. So you can see here we've got a ribbon cable, and then there's another one at the back over here. So this must be where we're kind of inputting into the factory harness. Obviously I just showed you the box and the cables, but this is it all laid out. Really not too much going on here, so hopefully not too complicated when it comes to the install. So with that, let's start taking some of the car apart so we can get this thing installed. From what I've seen, budget maybe an hour or two to do the whole job, and you don't have to rush it. There are some very, very detailed videos on step-by-step on how to do the installation. I am going to record all of it and share it with you. I will take some time at the end to talk about any of the more challenging pieces. But you know, I would definitely encourage you to follow some of the step-by-steps that are out there if you are going to purchase this as well, because there may be a few items that I gloss over just in the being kind of cognizant of time. All right, well, I may regret doing this outside in the summer because it is a hot one today, but I figured let's get started. I'm going to document this and start kind of getting some of the car taken apart so that we can basically access the stereo, because really that's step one, is we need to get the head unit out of the car. And this is really the piece that I'm talking about. So that's going to involve really getting this whole single console area out and removed. This may be a little more tricky for me because I also have the rear climate control, but that has not stopped me in the past. So let's get to it. I almost forgot every Jag owner's favorite wrench, T30 Torx. Now let's hop in the back here. This all looks like it's been fiddled with before, sadly. One of the many things I'm gonna have to look into, but this is my rear climate control. Kind of just fell out in my case. So I'm gonna get this unplugged so we can see if there's any screws back here as well. And for those with the rear AC, the screws that actually hold it on, they're down in this area behind the little vent. So that's a little different than the regular console cars where the screws are actually kind of back in this area. Okay, well, I wasn't kidding about it being hot, but I managed to get the console out with a little bit of wrestling. I would imagine if you don't have the rear AC, it would be a little bit easier to get out, but let me show you what I'm working with now. So here's the factory kind of head unit, AC controls and everything. And then those of you that are interested, here's the shifter assembly. Exposed. Those for the real nerds. There's the whole separate AC system in the back of the car. And just another vantage point for all of you. You guys hear us say this a lot. This is a great opportunity to clean places that wouldn't usually be able to be cleaned. So there is a lot of opportunity in the car here to do that. I thought I'd show you guys the console removed. You would have seen it a little bit in the time lapse. Overall, it's not in bad shape, but just how I was saying, there's stuff, you know, that gets kind of along the edge of the seat, things like this. This is particularly lovely right here. All that can be cleaned up, really just to improve the cleanliness and the jagginess of the car. I'll do a whole video on the cleaning process, but you can kind of see all the ingrained dirt on the armrest, all these great opportunities for some cleaning. So really the next step is going to be to remove the head unit. The plan is that I'm going to probably pick that up tomorrow, hopefully when it's a little bit cooler out. Now I have the console out of the way, I have a lot more room to work. And so I'm going to get stuck back in tomorrow. We'll get the head unit out of the car. We'll get it inside where we have AC, and then we can get the head unit disassembled so we can install this awesome piece of kit. And what I wanted to share with everyone on this is that actually JagAux has very kindly offered to provide a coupon code to any of the Low Tech Garage followers here for you to basically get 10% off any purchases through the JagAux website. It is not specific to the X350 platform, so any of the products that are listed on their site, definitely take a look. And if you use the product code that I have listed in the description below, you can get that 10% discount on any purchases. So I highly encourage you to check that out, and hopefully you get to enjoy the Bluetooth experience like me or some of the other awesome products that JagAux has to offer. All right, well, it's day 2, and let's get this head unit out. You may see in the time lapse, I'm also removing the shifter here. That is only because I want to fix these buttons that someone has picked the coating off of. You do not have to do that for this install. I'm just doing this as while you're in there, and I'll probably cover this in a little more detail either at the end of this video or in a separate one. All right, well, it's out. There's a big hole in the dash. The stereo head unit is out. I found all these car wash stamp cards and some change as well. Well, I guess before I get too carried away, this is the back of my head unit. Yours may look a little different depending basically on what type of configuration you have. I have the navigation with premium audio. So, you know, that's kind of why this looks specifically the way it does. The goal is that we need to basically get into this piece here, which is the CD changer. So there's some disassembly that I'm going to do to break this down to where we can get to that now. And you'll meet me back once we've got the CD changer here separated. Well, here it is. CD changer separated, and the next step is going to be basically undoing all these little screws to open it up. And then, yeah, you can kind of see here we got the nav unit and then the buttons here. And this really just works as a rack to stack everything together. But with that, let's get this guy open. Okay, so I got the lid off the CD changer. And as you can see, we got the CD player in here. The next step, you actually have to remove the CD player. There's 4 bolts, 1, 2, 3, 4. They look a little fiddly, so I'm gonna have to get some special screwdrivers to fit in there. Ideally, I'm guessing magnetic would be good, and then we can lift the CD player out. undone the 4 screws for the CD player. You may have noticed I was using this screwdriver, but these are the tiny little screws here, and they are kind of in between the CD player and actually these little tabs here. And they can be real tricky to remove once they're undone. I had a magnet, and so you can see me, I was actually magnetizing the screwdriver just to pull them out. So that's a little tip that you may find useful. The next step, I have to disconnect the ribbon cable here and also down here. So I'm going to do that now. All right, well, this is where we've landed. So as you can see over here, the ribbon cable is out, and really it's just releasing these little tabs on each side by pulling them forward, and then the cable will pull out. The other piece I did remove is really where the main socket goes in, right here. And that just plugs in down here and is held in by one screw in the case. All right, I thought I'd do a quick check-in. So, this is the JagAux adapter. I fed it through the case where the power plug is. And then I've connected the ribbon cable in here like so, basically replacing the one that used to be there with this adapter. So now I have to carefully get the CD player, flip it back over, and attach it back to the mounting tabs within the CD player. Okay, so CD player is back in. A little fiddly, but I used that magnet technique I shared, and it was not too bad. Took maybe 5 minutes to get all the screws back in. And now we have our JagAux cables feeding out that will plug into the Bluetooth module. So let's move on to the next step. Okay, well, this is the finished product. You can look here and see I just bent this tab back a little bit just to give me a little more room to feed the cables out nicely without putting any pressure on the socket. Depending on the head unit you have, you may or may not have to do this, but for mine I did. But now we have all the auxiliary cables coming out the back of the head unit. So basically now I'm going to reassemble this back into one head unit, and then we'll move on to the next we are back together. Now we have this hardwired in. So let me flip this up just to show you, hopefully. And now you can see the head unit is back together. And now we can get on with the reinstall. And what I've done here is now hook up the module. So like I mentioned, nice and clearly labeled. Everything goes in here nicely. And we've kind of got the wiring loom here that I'll tidy up once we get back into the car, which is where we're going to go now. All right, well, we are back inside the car, and we have quite the opening here, but we have a complete head unit with the Jag Ox poking out the back. So now we just need to reinstall it. Okay, so I just have this rested in just with a couple bolts just to locate it because this thing's kind of bulky, but I've got everything plugged back in. Right now I just have the harness dangling out the top because I want to make sure everything works. I have disconnected the battery just because I've been working with electronics. So I'm going to get that plugged back in, and yeah, let's give this thing a test drive. So it's a couple days later. I went on a little side quest with this project, and let me show you what I was doing. And particularly, it is down in this console area, the rear AC unit. So I'm sure you can see it's all nice and clean down here. But actually, when I opened the car up, it was very apparent that someone had spilled a drink in this area, and it was all sticky and gross, and I just really couldn't bring myself to leave it this way. And then the Eagle Eye viewers will notice that I also changed out these buttons in the J-gate, which, like I said, it was a side quest. I did not document this. If anyone does have interest on the disassembly process of a J-gate, let me know. I can certainly do a video, but really wasn't my main mission for this, so didn't want to go off on a tangent. But as you can see, this is all super nice and clean now, and JagAux is right here. It will need a little bit of cable management to permanently put it behind the dash. As you can also see, get a little closer because of the sun, we now have basically it hooked up and reading, and I'll talk you through that a little more in just a second. And one other piece I spent quite a bit of time on is this. You'll only have this if you have the rear AC system, but this is fundamentally the air intake to the blower fan for the rear AC, and this was completely caked in dust and lint. And so I managed to get all that out with brushing it and vacuuming and so on and so forth. So I'm hoping that makes the rear AC a little more efficient and probably makes his blower a little more quiet as well. So back to JagAux, and yeah, the little module here is fantastic. I've been testing it for about a day, and basically, really when you start, this thing just powers up and becomes an available Bluetooth device that says JagAux. And you can connect to it, and it will work basically through the head unit right away. But with that, you will only be controlling it through your phone still. And I say that because there's actually some step-by-step directions that allow you to then pair it with the steering wheel controls that control the CD player. I have done that, and what that means is that you can basically skip forward and back through the tracks, which is super nice. You can equally program the mute button to pause the track as well. I elected not to do that for now. I may do that at a later date. I'm not going to get into the weeds on how to do that, but it certainly is a really nice feature because then, you know, you don't have to take your hands off the wheel if you want to listen to the next track or anything like that. You just hit next on the steering wheel and you can continue to listen to the next song that you want to listen to. So really, all in all, very pleased with the overall ease of installation, although you do have to take a little bit apart. Once it's hooked up, it works flawlessly, and honestly, it's a little tricky to show here. I'll see if I can maybe record with another device and I can play one of my YouTube videos or something like that through it, but the audio quality is fantastic. All right, so I'm connected to JagAux, and if I hit play here, welcome to another episode of Low Tech Garage. It takes full advantage of the optical audio the Jag has, and the clarity is great, and something you just do not get with an FM transmitter. So really that's what I was going for, and that is why I went for the solution. It's really worth that little bit more effort to take some components apart in the car and have that fully integrated Bluetooth feature. And yeah, I am just super thrilled. So I think really next steps for me, the console for my car is a little dirty. I think I showed that earlier in the video. Let's head over to the shop and we're gonna get that cleaned up just to get all the grime off of it, because while it's out, it's really easy to clean. And we'll get that put back in and we can kind of wrap this up. But so far, so good. I am really pleased with this product. Okay, so here's the console. And I think this gives you an idea of how gross it is. You can see this is kind of like the soda or coffee that was spilled. This is real nasty all up here. I did take just a minute to try with one of my cleaners, and look at the difference, just right here. And this only took a couple minutes. So we're gonna start trying to work some magic on this thing and see how good it turns out. I'm back, and you will see that basically cables are all tucked away, nothing in here anymore. We are ready to put the center console back in. Basically the cables, there's a nice pocket right in this plane here behind the head unit that I just kind of tucked everything back behind, and then the head unit just slots right back in, so it's nice and easy. And yeah, just with the 4 screws, you can always get back to accessing it if you need. I did put the microphone up here. We'll see how that works out. But I wanted to have it at least tucked up in the A-pillar before we get the center console put back in. So with that, let's get that center console put back in. It is a lot cleaner now. And yeah, with that going in, I think we can really wrap this up and can give you an overview of my experience with this so far. And we'll go from there. Here is the finished product. Boy, oh boy, am I glad I took the time to clean all of this out, get all the weird stuff that was under the trim, get my buttons swapped out, just thoroughly clean everything in the leather, because it has made for a really nice improvement to the interior. All right, well, I have been using the Jag Ox now for a couple of weeks, and I must say I am really pleased with the outcome. It's really given me that premium audio sound that I have been searching for. It really leans into the optical audio that the Jag X350 platform comes with. And there's whole parts of songs that I've listened to for years that I didn't even know existed, just again, really because of the clarity that you have with the audio and this specific Bluetooth connectivity. So if you have any questions about the installation, kind of feedback that you didn't see in the video, please reach out to me, drop me a comment below. I am more than happy to answer any questions. Honestly, though, it was pretty straightforward. If you've taken pieces of cars' interiors and stuff like that apart, um, you're going to be fine. Just take your time, and it all makes sense. The instructions that come along with the module are really detailed, and they walk you exactly through what you need to do. So I really don't think you would have issues with the installation, but again, I'm always happy to support the Jag community and share my feedback as well. Also, I don't think I actually showed the process during the video, but pairing the Bluetooth module to my steering wheel controls took maybe 10 seconds. It is, again, super, super easy. And now I have the ability to basically skip back and forward on tracks using the CD change control on the side of the steering wheel, um, which is a really nice feature. You do also have the ability to program the mute button on the steering wheel to pause tracks as well. I elected not to do that, but certainly a feature you can do as well, and just another thing that really makes this a premium product. And one final thing, I think I touched on this earlier, but the JagAux support is fantastic. Not only are the instructions great, but if you have any questions about the installation, I found that just reaching out to them, you get a response really quickly, and it is really detailed, and they're really hoping to help you get through any of the troubles you may have through the installation process. And equally in my case, I found that actually during the ordering process as well, um, they were really detailed to make sure that I got the exact right module for my car. So specific down to what type of audio I have. Do you have sometimes rear entertainment? Anything like that. They really want to clarify all that to ensure you get the right product out of the gate because the Jags are complex, and depending what stereo system you have in the car, can change some of the minute details of the device that you're getting, and they want to ensure you get the right one out of the gate as well. So with that, like I said, this is a little different of an episode than normal, but I hope you enjoyed this. Again, really taking advantage of you have this premium luxury Jag and having that premium Bluetooth audio in the car. It's something that, like I said, for the last 2 weeks, I have really, really enjoyed in the car and really look forward to just leaning in and enjoying this feature more during my ownership of this beautiful X358. So if you do have any questions, like I said, drop a comment below. I do my best to respond to everyone. But otherwise, I think that's where we're going to wrap this episode. So thank you so, so much for watching. If you are new to the channel, please do consider subscribing. As you can see recently, I've been putting out a lot of Jaguar content. We just sent off the XJS here recently, and the X358, I have a lot of plans for it to really mechanically get it sorted, and then go through and really kind of improve its overall cosmetics, some of which I have not shown yet on the channel. But with that, thanks again, and until the next episode, I'll see you soon.